Hello, and welcome to this recorded applicant guide for the 2024 Emergency Mitigation and Preparedness Grant Opportunity made possible by funding from the state of Louisiana and facilitated by the Louisiana Endowment for the Humanities. We are so pleased to be able to share this informational session with you all. As a reminder, if you have any questions following this session, you can either reach out personally to the Program Officer, Director of Grants, Erin Voisin, or you can register for an upcoming Q&A session. Contact information and session details are available at the end of this recording. For those of you not familiar with the LEH and what we do, this slide provides some brief background for your reference. Chartered by the U.S. Congress in 1971, the Louisiana Endowment for the Humanities is the state affiliate or State Humanities Council of the National Endowment for the Humanities, or NEH, an independent federal grant-making agency. There are 56 councils nationwide, and we serve as Louisiana's. Each humanities council, while their respective missions may differ to some degree, is tasked with making the academy accessible to the public in some way. The LEH's mission is to partner with communities, institutions, and individuals to explore Louisiana's past, reflect on our present, and imagine our future. In plain language, through our work in the Regrants program, we work with cultural organizations across the state to deliver quality humanities-focused programming to their communities and support identified needs of the state's cultural infrastructure as able. While our headquarters are in New Orleans, we have a mandate to reach the entire state, especially rural and underserved communities that have less access to quality humanities programming. Being situated in Louisiana, we are very familiar with the kinds of natural disasters like hurricanes and floods, as well as a range of other types of emergency events that pose serious threats to Louisiana's cultural infrastructure, which includes museums, libraries, historic sites, archives, and these are just to name a few. In recent years, the LEH, with support from the National Endowment for the Humanities, has taken an active role in helping humanities-based cultural organizations prepare for, respond to, and recover from such disasters. This year, with the support of the state of Louisiana, we're able to offer this round of emergency mitigation and preparedness grants to help organizations like yours in your ongoing efforts to mitigate previous impacts from emergency events and to better prepare for and respond to potential threats, reducing your organization's vulnerability by putting in place clear and current strategies for reducing the effects of future emergencies. A brief overview of the grant. Applicants can request up to $10,000 under this grant opportunity. Please be aware that the grant committee may elect to award less than the amount requested, dependent on availability of funds. The application opens November 1st. Applicants will be able to submit proposals through December 6th, at which point the application will close at 11:59 p.m. Applicants should expect to receive notice of award or decline in the first part of 2024. A grant's period of performance will be for the period of 1 year, with specific dates identified in the grantee's award agreement. No cost sharing is required for this opportunity. This means that you do not have to provide a cost match from your own funds to match the funds you're requesting from LEH. Allowable costs must clearly and directly support emergency mitigation and preparedness activities, defined as efforts that will reduce the effects of past or future natural disaster damage. Examples include, but are not limited to, hiring consultants to develop, update, or guide grantee staff in developing written emergency plans, underwriting staff time to create, update, and implement written emergency plans, supporting staff training such as workshops or through other professional development opportunities directly related to emergency planning and implementation, coverage or partial coverage of insurance storm deductibles, IT support to underwrite moving servers and other local systems vulnerable to on-site flooding to the cloud, and physical repairs or improvements that reduce vulnerability. If your organization does not currently have an emergency plan in place or in development, a portion of the proposed budget in this grant application must be allocated to plan development. If you did not receive a 2023 emergency planning grant, you may request emergency planning costs of up to $5,000. If your organization did receive a 2023 emergency planning grant, your proposed budget under this grant may not include planning costs. Proposed costs may focus on plan implementation and execution efforts, but may not duplicate costs covered by your active grant. Is your organization eligible? Eligibility is defined through the following three requirements. First, your organization or the organization with whom you are partnering must be located within the 64 parishes of Louisiana. As the State Humanities Council for Louisiana, we have a mandate to reach organizations located in all 64 parishes of all sizes and serving all audiences, with a particular emphasis on supporting organizations reaching underserved populations. Organizations must be a nonprofit with 501c3 status, a public-facing organization operating within accredited institutions of higher learning, state and/or local government agencies, or state or federally recognized Native American tribal governments in Louisiana. Nonprofits must submit copies of their Form 990 and IRS determination letter. Your Form 990 should be from the most recently completed fiscal year. All applicants are required to submit their federal tax identification or EIN number and SAM.gov or UEI number, also known as the Unique Entity Identifier. We have links to guidance for all of this available on our website, and I will also discuss this in a little more detail later in the presentation. Please don't let not having a UEI in place deter you from applying. We understand that there continues to be a backlog in getting new numbers assigned, and LEH is happy to work with you during this process. And finally, applicants must be a humanities-based organization. So what are the humanities? This is how the humanities are defined by the National Foundation on the Arts and Humanities Act of 1965 as amended. You can explore more details about the NEH's definition at the About page on their website, detailed here. The humanities deal with what is fundamentally and essentially human, the attributes which distinguish human beings from all other natural beings: self-consciousness, language, reason, creativity, human values and aspirations, and the products of all of these. The humanities concern themselves with the experience of being human, exploring it, analyzing it, interpreting and refining it, while at the same time adding to it. At the core of the humanities are questions of value and justification, meaning and interpretation. The study of the humanities promotes critical thinking, decision-making, communication, self-understanding, valuation, integrative understanding, cross-cultural awareness, aesthetic sensibility, and civic responsibility. Why are the humanities important? We explore our own shared culture. We gain insight into what it means to be human, and we make connections to our own daily life through the humanities. When Congress established the NEH and subsequently the LEH, it defined the humanities to include the following disciplines: history, philosophy, literature, foreign languages, both classical and modern, linguistics, comparative religion, ethics, archaeology, jurisprudence, art history, theory and criticism, and philosophical and historical approaches to social sciences. These fields are differentiated from the quantitative social sciences and the arts, which includes visual and performing or creative arts. However, even the social sciences and the arts at times interface with the humanities in terms of method or content. For example, political theory and cultural anthropology and geography are considered humanities disciplines. So are folklore and certain interdisciplinary fields, such as American or women's studies. In short, the arts create while the humanities interpret. As a brief exercise, two of these are not humanities disciplines. And based on what we just currently reviewed, you can probably clearly identify that creative writing and sculpture are the two fields that are solely creative in nature and ineligible as a humanities discipline. Some things to consider when determining if your organization is humanities focused. Ask yourself, does it engage in public programming with educational components that focus on any of this subject matter? And if so, when you're describing your organization in the application, make sure that you highlight the humanities focused programming or initiatives that you engage in. Some examples of humanities based programming could include reading and discussion programs on humanities subject matter, see previous definition, contextualizing histories and engaging the public through displays, talks, tours, lessons, and the like, demonstrations or presentations of cultural traditions and folkways. Such programs should also have an educational component to them. Some important clarifications. Humanities organizations can be art focused, meaning that they engage the public in art history, criticism, and theory, which is, as we just went over, distinct from the creation of art. Organizations that are singularly focused on the creation of art are not eligible for this grant as defined here. Another common point of confusion is that we are focused on humanities organizations, not to be confused with humanitarian organizations, meaning that you must have the mission or history of presenting publicly accessible programming focused on humanities subject matter. If you're solely a humanitarian focused organization, one of response or relief, you'll not be a potential grantee as defined here. All grant applications will be subject to the same review process based on these criteria shown here. Proof of eligibility. This will be assisted by the documents that we request you upload in the application, including the Form 990 and your IRS determination letter. Organization's record of strong humanities-based programming. Ask yourself, are the humanities central to the organization's mission? Does the organization explore, document, and/or preserve Louisiana's cultural heritage? Geographic location. Organizations must be located in or partnering with an organization located in one of Louisiana's 64 parishes. Equal reach to a variety of regions and parishes is a consideration during the review. Organization's impact and reach. Does your organization have significant impact in terms of audience members in relation to its size and geographic location? Does the organization reach underserved and/or rural regions of the state? Are these historically excluded populations? Are they regions less supported due to their geographic proximity to a metro area? Alignment with approved use of funds as outlined in the request for proposal. Is the budget accurate, realistic, and clearly described? Does the budget clearly support only allowable costs? If other costs are included, are they clearly defined as directly related to emergency mitigation or preparedness activities? Did the organization receive a 2023 emergency planning grant? This is a consideration for what should or should not be included in the proposed budget as previously discussed. Before we walk through the grants portal, a word of advice. Please make sure to get your applications into the system before the last minute rush to ensure that you have plenty of time to address any login or other technical issues you may encounter. Also, we check for completeness of the application once you have submitted it. So if you need to add or replace a required component, you want to make sure you have enough time to do so. As a general reminder, the LEH closes at 5 p.m. So if you're submitting after LEH operating hours and encounter a technical issue with the system, there may not be anyone available to help you to address the issue. So please, the sooner you submit, the better. Now we will walk through an overview of LEH's grant portal, which if you've ever used Foundant for any other grant applications will look very familiar. You can locate the entry point via our website in the uppermost navigation ribbon. You can also access the portal through the Grant Opportunities webpage link, usually linked with phrases like applications are open now or apply now here. Logging in. Previous applicants can log on using that blue Log On button. If you don't know if your organization has an existing account, feel free to email me. I can check the system. This helps to avoid creating duplicate accounts. If your organization has never applied, go ahead and create a new account. Once you've logged in, find the Apply button in the top left under the page header. Click this button to bring up the list of currently open grants. Once you have pulled up a list of currently open grant programs, this opportunity should be at or near the top. Click the blue Apply button associated with Emergency Mitigation and Preparedness Grant. The button is located to the far right in the field and will lead you to the application. You can access a sample application on the grant page to preview the questions. Once you start entering items in the fields in the live application, you will be able to save your progress in the system, and if you need to, return later to complete filling in the form. A brief explanation for anyone who has yet to apply for a UEI. Put simply, a UEI confirms that your entity is what you say it is, a unique organization with its own physical address. Until recently, the federal government used DUNS numbers issued by Dun & Bradstreet to identify businesses and organizations as unique, but now a UEI issued through sam.gov will be required in place of a DUNS number. They've essentially taken the third party out of the process. You can access more information on this through our website, which will bring you to the sam.gov site. They are the experts, so don't hesitate to contact them should you encounter any issues, but please make sure to keep us in the loop as to your status. It will need to be in place before we can award any funds to you. Also a note, none of this should cost anything to accomplish, other than your time and effort. If you are ever asked to pay for this service, it is not a legitimate request and should be reported to the sam.gov entities. Here's a list of LEH resources that are provided via the RFP webpage. You can access a PDF of the Request for Proposal or RFP. This video guidance will be linked there as well, along with a sample application where you can preview the questions in advance. You will also be able to access the budget template and budget narrative template, which you can use and will need to be uploaded in the application. We've also allowed a checklist for making sure you have completed all requirements in the application. We've included the reviewer criteria we just went over with you, and a number of frequently asked questions. Also included here is a sample award agreement for you to review in advance. If there are any terms that you feel you cannot agree to, please be in contact with us or make sure that you are able to at least review this in advance in a timely manner. Stay in the know about all LEH opportunities. We're sharing this and all of our updates on our websites, newsletters, and via social media platforms. I highly recommend signing up and following us to stay updated on the many opportunities and other resources we are sharing. These links are also available throughout our website. Thank you very much. We hope this video has provided a thorough review of the grant details and application process. If you have questions, we will be holding Q&A sessions on Wednesday, November 8th at 11 a.m. and Thursday, November 16th at 2 p.m. I ask that you watch this video guidance before attending and come prepared with your questions. These sessions will not be recorded. I'll keep the sessions open for an hour and you can join at your convenience. If you need more time or are unable to make one of these scheduled sessions, feel free to reach out via chat or phone.